welcome back to Kim Reads as we continue with Louis Braille. New boy. Still, Simon Braille didn't say yes or no. Not right away. First he wrote to the Institute. He had many questions to ask. The answers must have pleased him, for he finally said yes. And so one cold day in February 1819, Louis climbed on a stagecoach and rode off to school. But school wasn't at all what Louis had hoped it would be. Not at first. The first day was almost like a nightmare of too many people and too much noise. Nearly 100 blind students went to the Institute. Louis was introduced to one after the other. He tried to keep their names straight, but they jumbled together in his head. Louis had never been with so many boys before, and he never felt more alone. Finally, the long day was over. Louis lay for the first time in his nearest school bed, in the middle of a long line of other beds. He was tired, but he could not sleep. He had a strange feeling, as if he had been swallowing something cold and hard. 10-year-old Louis had never been away from home before. He didn't know he was homesick, but he did know he was miserable. Finally, he buried his head in the pillow and began to cry. "Don't cry," a voice from the next bed spoke. "Here." Louis felt a handkerchief being put in his hand. "Go on, blow," the friendly voice went on. "There, doesn't that feel better?" The voice was closer now. Louis felt his bed sink as someone sat on it. "My name's Gabriel. Gabriel Gautier. What's yours?" "Louis Braille," Louis said between sobs. "Listen, Louis," Gabriel said. "You've just got the new boy blues. Everyone gets them at first. I did too." You did?" "Yes, but they go away. So go to sleep now. You'll feel better now. Wait and see." "Good night," Gabriel said softly, back in his own bed again. "Night." Louis wriggled down under the covers. He even smiled a little, for he did feel better. He had made his first friend. Louis needed a friend in the next few weeks. There were so many strange things to get used to. Louis was a country boy. He was used to sunshine and plenty of fresh air. Everything seemed so crowded and dirty to him there in the city. He was used to being clean. In the summer, Louis had bathed almost every day in the nearby creek. In the winter, his mother kept a big pot of water hot over the fire. But here at the Institute, there was only one bathroom for all the boys. They were only allowed to take one bath a month. And the old school building was big. Hallways went off in every direction. There were staircases everywhere. Louis had lived all his life in a 2-room house. He got lost again and again. Would he ever find his way around the big old barn of a place? What bothered Louis most was the dampness. The school building was built very close to a river, so instead the air was always cold and wet. When Louis first came to the Institute, his cheeks were rosy with health, but soon he was as pale as the rest of the boys. Most of them had hacking coughs that would not go away. The visiting doctor said the damp air was bad for their lungs. So at first, all Louis could think of was his family and his home in Coupvray. But a bit by bit, things got better. Louis got used to the school and the strange city ways. He learned to get around the big old building. He began to make friends with more and more boys. And before long, he was simply too busy to be homesick or sad. He had classes from morning till night. Grammar, geography, history, arithmetic, music. Louis loved them all. 10-year-old Louis Braille was the youngest boy in school. Right at the beginning, he was often at the head of his class. The boy is gifted with a great ease of learning, a teacher wrote. You almost never have to tell him something twice. Every afternoon, the boys touched their way down the halls to one of the workshops. There, they knitted caps and mittens, made straw and leather slippers, or wove long rawhide whips for cattle and oxen. Louis had helped his father in the harness shop for years. It had been good training. From the beginning, he was good with his hands. At the beginning of the first year, Louis even won a special prize for knitting and slipper making. But Louis's favorite time of day was late afternoon. Then he went to the music class. All the boys learned to play some musical instrument. Louis learned to play several, but from the beginning he showed a special talent for the piano. Louis loved to press the keys and hear the sounds, happy or sad. Music was going to be one of the great joys of Louis Braille's life. The blind boys could not wander the streets of Paris alone, so most of the time they had to stay inside. But every Thursday they were taken for a special walk. It wasn't easy to take so many blind boys through the busy streets of Hattiesburg. The school worked out a way. A teacher held the end of a long rope. The blind boys lined up behind, each holding to the rope. When the teacher started to walk, the rest of the rope followed, after wriggling like a snake with many legs. The boys knew they probably looked funny, but they just laughed and called themselves the Rope Gang, and held their heads high. At first, the busy city streets scared Louis. But they were so different from the quiet country roads of home. Bells ringing, boats tooting, carts and wagons rumbling through every alley street. It was too much noise. And the people, there were so many of them, pushing, shoving, rushing by. Why was everyone in such a hurry? Louis wondered. People never rush like this at home. But soon Louis began to sort out the sounds of the city. He learned to tell the churches of Paris apart by the different sound of their bells. The boats on the nearby river by their whistles. A loud crunch crunch will sound on a cobbled street was a soldier's boot passing by. And a certain swish swish sound meant a lady's long skirt. Louis already knew the sounds of country birds. Now he learned the whir of pigeons' wings and the scratchy sound of their feet on the hard city streets. And that's the end of that chapter. See you later.